Hello Aries, welcome to your reading for the 7th through to the 14th of March 2026. It's going to be general, so please take what resonates and leave the rest. Let's welcome in the archangels, ascended masters, light beings, spirit guides, and of course higher selves, as well as any animal, ancestral, or dragon guides that you may feel are assisting you at this time. Okay. Right, Aries, let's see what's going to jump out here for you. Right, we have the Seven of Cups and the Page of Swords. So there could be some, I was going to say BS that you're cutting through here, but I don't think it's BS. I think this is you holding this sort of truth here. And what you're doing is you're going, well, out of these distractions and options, you're going, well, this one might align with me, this one might not, this one will, this one. You're basically going through and identifying, I think, what's working for you and what isn't. Okay, Aries. You're getting clear on that. You're also, I guess, maybe you're learning some new things. Maybe you're communicating. You are, getting some insights as well. You also have the Knight of Wands and the Five of Cups. So, Knight of Wands is sort of forward momentum, whereas Five of Cups is not so much momentum here for you, Aries. So there could be a little bit of toing and froing between those energies for you. We might come back to those cards in a moment. Let's see what's happened recently. Notice there's a dragon present there, so this could be about, dragon guides. There's a red dragon, there's a red cape, so maybe something to do with your base or root chakra energy. Four of Pentacles and the Justice card. Let's see what else you have. Three of Wands and Six of Wands. Yep. I think just recently, this is sort of in alignment with your Page of Swords there. With the Justice, you've kind of made some decision about yourself. And I think this is also involving you sort of protecting your energy. Maybe you are, I guess, just really conserving your resources or conserving money or something like that at this point. Yeah, and I think what you're hoping for here is this is, you're about to embark on a successful phase here. Literally, this is your success. Okay, so you're waiting for your ships to come in to some extent, but it is going to be successful here, Aries, by the look, or you're hoping. This is what you're hoping for. Right, we're going to grab some energies here for possible outcomes as well. So you have here Two of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. So body and mind here, you Aries. There could be, there's some juggling, but I think what you're sort of doing here is the outcome is that you're applying more flexibility and adaptability in being able to take time out when you need it. Maybe you're doing more meditation, Aries. I feel like maybe what you're doing is you're integrating either more meditation into your lifestyle, or you are, or you're establishing a spiritual practice of some sort. You're also understanding the benefit of, I guess, not moving into extremes at the moment. You have two fours here in your reading. So that number of stability and of, just keeping things fairly harmonious. Because maybe you are juggling some things, and we did mention that you're kind of sifting through some things here at the moment. So you're also aligning with your personal truth, and as you do that, you're kind of working out, what's in alignment and what isn't. And I think there's a toing and froing between you're contemplating, your daily life, but then you're also just checking back in with your soul, and then you're kind of moving between these two energies a little bit. The challenge here is going to be for, Emperor Seven of Cups, which is you know, you may have challenges at times in, I guess, mastering the distractions or in making choices that are in alignment with your sovereignty. Maybe you have difficulty at times tuning into just what your sovereignty is. The interesting thing is that in the start of your energy here, you have this page of Knight with the Seven of Cups. So this has been the start of, I think, for you, Aries, an exploration into your creative, spiritual, intuitive self, aka Seven of Cups, okay, and your exploration here. And I think what's, you know, what you may have difficulty with is realizing, you know, with regard to this creativity, spirituality, and intuition, you might have difficulty realizing your power here. This is actually your power card, Aries. So you may have difficulty sort of seeing just you know, acknowledging, I guess, just how much you know, how much you've experienced, and how far you've come. We're going to get some spirit guidance now. Yeah, we didn't really look at the Knight of Wands here, did we? Yeah, I think this is, you know, your higher self saying that there's a part of you here, Aries, that really wants to take off, to move forward, and to have adventures possibly. And maybe there's still something here that you're kind of either enmeshed in or preoccupied with here, Aries. But I think when, you know, it's sort of like, I think your higher self was sort of saying for you to just keep these energies in mind and to, I guess, not despair or not give up on this idea of, you know, you moving into empowerment and being able to, you know, have adventures and do things your way. Maybe there's something at the moment that's, you know, and it can be a, you know, it could be a choice of state of consciousness too here, Aries, or maybe it's to do with a belief that you're holding on to that's possibly keeping you there, or it could be an actual real-life situation, a process of grief that you're moving through, okay, or some type of healing process. Okay, I'm just going to get 3 off the top here. Snow, or the Chill card, which we just had for Taurus, I think it was. Wisdom of the Sacred, the High Priestess. Wow. And you also have the Dimensional Shifts, the Chariot, moving forward. Okay, these are really beautiful cards. Let's look at... they're actually really nice. I'm just glided to this one. Wisdom of the Sacred, the High Priestess for you, Aries. So, of the Cups energy, which is the water, which is to do with intuition, creativity, the High Priestess is also about those things, includes those things, but she's also about waiting and just being patient, doing your meditation that you're doing here, Aries, going within and conserving your energy, you know, which is what you're doing here with the Four of Pentacles. You know, I really like these fours here to go with the High Priestess for you. Because, you know, the Knight of Wands is the typical Aries energy, like jumping in and, you know, razzing about. And maybe you've been doing that, but I think of late, just, you know, you've been kind of doing the opposite, Aries. I think maybe you've slowed down, you're just conserving your energy, like we said. You're just taking things one day at a time almost. And you also... yeah, you're also going through this process of alignment, like many of these other readings I've done. A lot of us are doing this at the moment, because you're actually preparing. This is the Chariot energy here, this one. So you're gathering all of your skills, talents, gifts, and abilities in the realms of creative, logical, even, you know, you've got your spiritual, intuitive, all this sort of thing, that you're really tuning into all these aspects of yourself. And I guess maybe you've been doing some journaling, maybe you've been doing some really good self-reflection, which is what this Seven of Cups here is doing. She's actually sitting there reflecting, which is pretty awesome. And you're also gathering your spirit guides, your spirit team. You're tuning into that. You're tuning into your, galactic connections. You're tuning into your mastery of your different, being able to move into different states of consciousness, even changing your frequency. You're getting a greater understanding of that. And this is all in preparation for, it says, dimensional shifts of the crystalline. So as we rise up in frequency, which is characterized by all those things we've just mentioned, okay, we're going to rise into the crystalline state, and there's other things beyond that which I haven't mentioned, okay, of course. So, this is what you're doing, Aries, and this is Spirit's confirmation of this process of, if these Seven of Cups energies, if this feels like confusing and a bit disorienting and like you've lots of stuff going on, it's okay, just sit with it and do your best to choose the things that you feel drawn towards and just, relax or chill. This is what, the chill. This is the chillax card. I'm going to call this one from now on. It's actually the Five of Pentacles, which typically in the Rider-Waite is, the people out in the snowstorm and, moving past the house with the lights on or the church. But this can feel like, it's that card of, it's looking like, the isolation energy. But I think this is a different frequency that where it's almost like a hermit kind of energy that's coming in around this card for you, Aries. And I think for other people too that are going to get this card in their readings. I do ask each of the decks if they would like to be in the particular reading that I'm about to do. And this card wanted to be here to give spirit guidance for Aries. So this is a card or energy of saying chill, which does not mean, it doesn't mean, I'm not saying you've got to try and be freezing cold, but you know what I mean. Chilling emotionally, calming, cooling, and of course, if you, that energy of also, if you need help, ask for it. If you need to collaborate, do that as well. But Spirit's saying, because sometimes we need to go through a bit of an incubation or a cooling off period, literally, during a time of transition. Before we make really big leaps, we might have to just, and I think this is collectively a lot of what we're going through at the moment, is that, let's come through in the readings, is that everyone's kind of chilling down. Like we're needing to chill down. And what's happening is if we're slowing down, we're pulling back from the external a little bit, from the externals. We're going inward and we're discovering that, oh, there's all this stuff here that we haven't been addressing. There's all this stuff about our soul, our talents, skills, gifts, and abilities that, and our joys that we really, really love to do. And we want to be doing them all. And it can be confusing, but Spirit's reminding us to just sit with it, breathe, relax, and to just, sit with it literally here. Because pretty soon, everything will take flight, metaphorically speaking, so that we will feel like, this breath of fresh air, the energies will be such, and we will be of such frequency that we'll be able to just do what we need to do. Okay. I mean, that might sound a bit out there or a bit, whatever, but I think some of you might get what I'm saying. It's sort of like, a lot of us are releasing a lot of energetic stuff, heavy energetic stuff from this life, from past lives. Okay, so this is the whole process. And the challenge for you, Aries, I think, is to realize that, is going to be that at times you're going to not fully realize the power that you have in being able to do all of this stuff we've just mentioned. You do have that. You do have those abilities to sort through all of that, and to come out on top as sovereign. Here you are with your power card. Okay, let's look at the bottom of the decks. Four of Wands. Yes, celebration. Another four. This is interesting. The only four you don't have is the Four of Cups. All the other fours are pretty chill. Okay. The Four of Cups is a little more like low motivation. We'll see if it turns up. Oh, here we have the Chariot again. Double confirmation of the Chariot. Aries, you're preparing to move forward. Okay. And yeah, and there's some sifting and sorting and choosing and, discarding. There's all those sort of things going on for you at the moment. Five of Swords. So this could be at times you second guessing yourself. Okay. maybe you have sort of chats with your ego. Maybe at times your ego comes up and says, well, you shouldn't be doing this, or you should really be doing this in actual fact because A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But, you know, the ego is going to rear its head and try and subvert the higher self, okay? It's going to try and subvert your soul. The idea is that we work together. The ego works with our soul, not against it. So if you feel that there's a conversation going on inside your head where your ego is like really putting down your soul stuff, just be really alert to that. Maybe journal it out, okay? And that type of energy can be characterized by, you know, serious self-negation, and that's your ego trying to subvert the higher self or your soul. Neutralize the charge, 5 of activations. This is also the 5 of swords. So this is what we've just been talking about. Boom, is about the ego trying to subvert the higher self. And what you need to do then is neutralize the charge. This is really cool because this deck actually kind of basically gives you a hint towards like the remedy, the energetic remedy for that 5 of swords business. These are the these are the same card, okay? Different decks, different takes on the same thing. So we're going to neutralize that charge. If you feel like, you know, your ego's going, you should be, you know, doing A and B. Why are you doing this? It's a waste of time, yada, yada. Then do the best that you can to neutralize it. One thing, the cards that's pulled that remedy from the reading here, one thing you are doing, Aries, is meditating. Getting clear, 4 of swords, on what the F's going on with all that talk that's going on, okay, within you. You also have here, like, wisdom of the sacred. Spirit's reminding you that, okay, what you're doing might not at this particular time be pulling in $5,000 a week income, okay? But it doesn't mean that what you're doing is not important, because there's a lot of wisdom in the sacred. And maybe down the track, who knows, maybe this sacred stuff that you're doing for your soul, maybe it's going to be pulling in double that amount per week down the track. Who knows? You know, so that's about, you know, just sitting with your sacred. We're talking about neutralizing the charge of that egoic voice at the moment. This also is about being flexible. So this could also be about you listening to your ego and going, well, you know, entertaining it and going, oh, really? That's your point, is it? Well, yeah, that's one way to look at it. This is the other way. There's another side to this coin, which I think I need to remind you of, you know, and you might need to be talking to your ego, maybe do some journaling, you know, like E for ego, write out the script, and then maybe, you know, M for me or H for higher self or something like that, and just have a dialogue with your ego. Because, yeah, this is that juggling, that adaptability, looking at the 2 different points of view, which could be helpful there as well. Because sometimes I think the ego just likes to be acknowledged. The ego also likes to move into familiar territory. So if you're really used to struggling and being unhappy, that's where it will kind of wants to move you towards that energy. So it's sort of like reassuring it and going, you know what, you can still be in my life, you know, we can still do stuff, but I'm just not going to be participating in that kind of stuff. We're going to be doing this together now. You know, whatever, however, you know, and I mean, this could be the energy here that maybe, you know, if this is you looking at these empty cups, maybe this is when you're engaging with that egoic voice that's kind of not really helping you to turn around to look at these other 2 cups here. Okay. Because this is what, this is like, you know, full power. You're literally flying through the sky, almost probably with your, you know, your dragon guide, you're flying through there, you know. And this could be what those 2 cups here represent. You know, if this is the ego wanting to keep us in, you know, like restriction, pain, but it's familiar, hey, you know, it's familiar. But, you know, the unfamiliar is going to be, we did talk about adventures, didn't we, before? So maybe the unfamiliar is a bit scary for the ego, but, you know, we can gradually maybe you just need to reassure it and say, look, we're going to gradually move into an adventure. I'm not going to push you in there right now. So yeah, that could be one interpretation of that reading. Yeah, so I hope that's been helpful, Aries. I mean, you're going to have some celebration, Four of Wands, and directly under that we have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, something new. So this thing that you've just got onto here, you know, I think you're stepping into your soul energy, and at the moment you could be a bit overwhelmed with all of the stuff coming in that you feel, or the stuff that you're realizing about yourself that you want to do. So this reading is sort of saying to keep doing meditation, because that will help you align, to chill, and to realize that you're going through a transition and you are in the preparatory phases. Okay, Chariot twice in your reading. And that, you know, remember to neutralize the charge if that egoic voice comes in to either, you know, put you down or, you know, berate you or whatever. It could also be other people are putting you down. Okay. Then looking at neutralizing the charge of that within you. Okay, if that brings up stuff within you, separating out and just neutralizing that, because you're moving into, you know, the Six of Wands energy here. You know, success. You know, something new here. You know, it's going to be a celebration. And, you know, you also have your empowerment here. Okay. And I might also add that this Knight of Wands is coming through in your higher self, a very empowered kind of energetic, vital energy as well coming through for you, Aries. So there we have it. And you also got the Fours, that beautiful, stable, harmonizing, conserving your energy and all that sort of stuff too coming through. So I hope that's been helpful, Aries. I think we might wrap it up there. Yeah. Anywho, look forward to your next reading. In the meantime, have a great day, a fantastic week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.